Now, Mark, I hear you're supporting Rishi Sunak in this particular campaign. Rishi currently has obviously got the most votes from the MPs at the moment. But every other poll, when they've done it, when it's been taken to the members, suggests that Penny Mordaunt would beat all of them in the final vote. What do you make of that?
Well, look, one thing I've learned in politics is you don't just look at one opinion poll. So there was another recent opinion poll of Conservative members that actually had Rishi Sunak beating both Liz Truss and Penny Mordaunt. So actually, I think you've got to look at a range of polls. At the moment, we're competing amongst members of Parliament. Rishi remains in the lead. He picked up a bigger share of the number of votes that were available from the two candidates that knocked out than he had previously. So I'm very pleased with today's result, and we will keep making the case with colleagues for the next ballot, which is on Monday.
And of course, the gloves are off and all that. We know a lot about Rishi. Do you think his reputation has been tarnished, obviously, by the holding of the Green Card? Then, of course, his wife, who has a share in Infosys, a company that he didn't declare in the minister's interests. And then Infosys itself has actually been awarded around about £500 million worth of public sector contracts and all of that kind of thing. Do you think that this has tarnished his reputation?
Well, look, I just need to pick you up, I think, on that issue there about Infosys. My understanding is when the issues came up with Rishi Sunak earlier this year, he referred himself to the then independent advisor on ministerial interests, Lord Geit, who looked at all of his interests, whether they'd been properly declared, and he concluded that Rishi Sunak had been scrupulous in declaring all of his interests and had behaved absolutely properly. So I don't think what you said there about his interests is actually accurate. He's absolutely complied with all the rules to the letter and to the spirit.
Yeah, but as I read it, maybe it wasn't necessary for him to declare it, but it wasn't actually initially declared. Now, you previously said that Rishi Sunak would be a breath of fresh air. But is that really the case, considering that he's been really pretty much the second most powerful person next to Boris Johnson? And you could say that he was part of the reason, if you look at the way, I mean, he was the architect of that disastrous spring statement. We can't forget that. 5% off solar panels and heat pumps for the richest of people. Most people can't afford that. Then there was the loan to you and I, but then the money was going to be given to the energy companies. This was out of touch. Do you think that perhaps, you know, he's not as in touch because you've actually said he's a breath of fresh air? A lot of the others would say, well, hang on a minute.
Well, yeah, I pick up 2 points from that question. First of all, on the breath of fresh air, I was referring to the fact that he's going to restore trust to how government's conducted. We all know why we're here, which is that there were issues with the way the Prime Minister conducted things, and I think the way Rishi conducts things, he's an honest man, he's got integrity, and he's been clear in this campaign so far. He's going to be honest with the British public about the challenges we face. I think that will be a breath of fresh air, actually. On your issue about being in touch, I think if you look at what he's done, what he did during the pandemic in terms of rolling out the furlough scheme, which saved millions of jobs, thousands of businesses, and also recently, if you take what he did in February, the spring statement and the further package of help he's rolled out, he's absolutely focused on helping people across the country with the challenges from energy prices and from the other things that are raising prices and challenging people's cost of living. And I think you judge people not just by what they say, but what they do. And I think on that measure, Rishi Sunak's the right man to lead the country in the years to come.
OK. Well, and also, just on a note about his connection with people, I mean, in his campaign video, he said he doesn't know any sort of working class people type thing, which probably sticks in the craw of a lot of people. Do you think that he has the ability to hold the red wall?
Yes, I think he does, and there's a number of my colleagues from those so-called red wall seats from the northeast of England who are backing him and are very clear about why they're backing him, because he's delivered. My colleague Jacob Young from Redcar, he's been very clear that Rishi delivered for his part of the world, and I think he's got support from Conservative colleagues from Leave areas, from Remain areas, from all parts of the United Kingdom, and I think he's got a very wide appeal, which I think is important for MPs to think about, but also for winning that general election when it comes in a couple of years' time.